Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. Today, first, welcome to Level Up SQL Microsoft SQL Server tutorial with Level Up SQL. To just refresh, in the previous video, I taught you, so we talked about what is DBMS, and then we added R, what is RDBMS, what is SQL Server Database, because we are using Microsoft SQL Server, but it's pretty much the same thing. And also I showed you how to create database and how to use and then how to drop using both GUI, graphic user interface, and then transitional T-SQL, meaning writing the codes. And then I gave you 7 questions for practice. So hopefully, if you do the homeworks and then you watch that video, you should have a pretty much a good understanding about what is database means. So just to refresh, database is like a container, like a shipping container, and one container gets a bunch of boxes or pack of boxes. So pretty much like that. So the box, so it's you see in the box in orange color are is the database. And then inside that, you see the schema. Inside that, you see tables. So the schema, we don't have to worry about it right now. It's just if you forget to create a schema, a Microsoft SQL Server automatically put DBL schema in front of the table that you're creating. So just focus on what is database, and then be in that database. We use and then create a table. So I'll teach you. So inside a database, how we can create a table. Before that, I want to show you what is table in SQL Server and then what is table in Excel. So today's topic, as um, we will talk about what is SQL. So because in order to create table, we have to know about the SQL or um, structured query language. So this is, well, knowing this will help us. So in order to speak English, you have to know ABCD. In order to speak Amharic or Ethiopian official language, there is Ethiopian official language alphabets that you have to know. There are rules. So, so we will be learning about SQL, and then also we'll be talking about, like I said earlier, a table in SQL database, and then also we would compare it in the Excel. And I'll also teach you how to create table, modify or alter table, and then drop table using both GUI and T-SQL. So first, what is SQL? So SQL stands for Structure Query Language, and it is used for a database tool. It is a database tool which is used to access the database to support a software application. So that, what does this mean? Um, as in, if you have any data in Excel, like here, where is it? So here in Excel, you can just access, you can click the file and then access it. But that's not the case in a database. As you saw in a previous video when I talk about database, right? How to where will store, how to access it. So you should be um, in good shape if you watched the previous video. So so as we talk about, instead of we can't access, we can't just click. This is a database, right? We cannot just click the files inside the database to open. It's not going to happen. So how are we accessing it? Through SQL, the structured query language. So imagine um, we have, this is a database and we are writing codes in here. And imagine this is a query engine who will help us to whenever we type or tell it what to do, and he will perform the work. For example, if we have DDL, meaning data definition language. So if we want to tell create a table or create database, the query engine will create database for us, and we would just tell it. So in order to learn how to communicate with query engine, we have to know about the SQL query language, the rules and the structures. Okay. So there are four types of, sometimes it can be five, we will see it later. But there are mainly four or five types of command or statements, SQL statements. One of them are DDL, and then DML, DCL, and TCL. And sometimes they will have DQL by taking out of the select, which you will see that later. So what is DDL? Data definition language. It is meaning that this interact with the database object. And when we say data manipulation language, this only interacts with data inside the database object, which is table. DCL, data control language. So this is just mainly DBAs or database administrators actually give you access or remove the access, the permission, give you permission to access the database or database objects, or remove or revoke or deny you the access, the right of access to that database. Transaction control language, commit, rollback, and save points. It's too advanced for now, but we will use this as we advance later on. And the transaction control, also we will use it and when we create specially in store procedure. So don't worry about these two, as in right now we want to focus on this section. So create means creates, as it says um, the word create. We want to create new, let's say building house, right, from the scratch. Alter, this is modifying the house. Let's say 2 bedroom versus 3 bedroom. Okay, if we had 2 bedrooms and very spacious, and we want to add one more bedroom, we can add wall, right, or remove wall. So we can modify the house from having 2 bedroom. We can modify to have 3 bedrooms, or we can do vice versa. We can do 3 bedrooms to 2 bedrooms, like, so modifying the column, not the equipment, or not on the couch or the bed. We're not doing any of that. The couch, the bed, any laptop, any equipment that we can, TV, that would be data. Imagine that would be data. But when we touch the columns or the walls, making 3 bedroom to 3 bedrooms to 2 bedrooms, that's altering, modifying the house. Or when we drop or demolish the house, or completely destroy the house, right? So drop. These are focused on just these three. They are called data definition language. They define the main structure. So that's why they are defined. Okay. So that's focus on just these: create, alter, drop, and then select, meaning show me. Whenever you create, this is 99% of the time interact with data. So show me. And whenever we want to interact with data, this means modify the data, insert the new value or new data, or delete or truncate. This should be on here. So let's see. Okay. What maybe you are confused when I say data or database objects. Okay. To explain to you a little bit. So data means, when I talk about data, when I say data, imagine this is a table. This is actually one of a database object called base table, but normally they call them table. So these are database objects. Okay. As we learn, we're going to spend much time on this until we understand a lot, because this is a bit complicated. And then once we master this section, then we will go view, what is view table, and then how we will do. I'll teach you all of these in the future. Okay, so just so you know right now, when I say data manipulation language, it will interact only this. For example, data, want to modify, right? When I want to insert, right? DML, data manipulation language, right? Insert, let's say, I want to insert, there's no Middle East, right? I want to insert Middle East here. So I will give it continent ID 27, continent name, Middle East, and continent postal code. I'll just put Middle East 2127. Okay, so that's a new value inserting. What if I want to delete? Okay, okay, I want to delete Europe. Okay, so I will just delete this row. So I will tell it delete from this table where continent ID is 25, content name is Europe, and then it will delete it for me. How do I update? Okay, so what if I want to update Africa for India? Okay, I'm not touching this. I'm just touching like partial modification. Okay, so I want to update this to be India instead of Africa. Okay, or only this one or this. So when I do interact, I'm manipulating, but I'm not touching the house. Okay, the table, right? Or I'm not touching the column. Okay, this is 3 bedrooms, right? 3 columns. If I want to remove only, I wanted 2 bedrooms or 2 columns, I can just have this and this, and then I will drop this. Okay, this calls, if I'm touching with the column, this called definition, data definition. Okay, so when I say data, just imagine I'm interacting with this, with the inside the table. When I say database objects, I'm talking about these, one of the six database objects. Let's say you have Ethiopia database, and then inside that you have a bunch of um, lists. Okay, the main are, I want you to focus on this. Okay, now I'm sure you know that when I say data, you will know what I'm talking about, and you when I say database objects, you know what I'm talking about. So DQL, as you can see, select. Right, select is to show me, to see after you create something or you insert record. When I say select, this is what it shows me. The query will give me in result panel, it shows me like this, whatever I want to see. Okay, which you will learn later, but mainly in this video we will be focusing on DDL. Okay, data definition language. So always works, this DQL 99% of the time works with data, which show me this or only this and this, or all of it, or this and this only. You will become advanced if you watch my video. So I'll show you in step by step in the future. Okay, so DDL always works with database objects. Some of the database objects are these, the 6. Okay, so we can create a new object. I can create a table. I can modify the table, right? Or I can drop the table. The same thing. Okay, so when I say create a new object. When I say alter, modify the existing database object. When I want drop, I'll start saying drop. So that means I want to remove the database object. So hopefully you are clear on this. Okay. DML, we're not going to talk about it today, but in the future video, we will, whenever we start inserting, I will do some DML, and to show you because it goes with it to show you to make sense for you. But we will be intensively working with DML in the coming video. But for now, DML, data manipulation language in here, always work with data, okay, inside the table. For now, insert means insert new records. Update means to modify existing, okay, existing. And delete means to delete new existing records or data, okay. Truncate means all of it at the same time, all of it, no filter, just truncate, empty the house, right? Vacant the house. All right, you rent the house, you want to move to the next, you rent apartment, you want to move out of that apartment. What do? You clean everything, take all your couches, your kitchen supplies, your bathroom, whatever, everything, and then you clean and then you turn the key. That is truncate. Okay. This, if you want to delete some of, let's say you want to switch or a new couch, you throw the old couch and replace a new one, or you just want to, you don't want a couch anymore. You delete, you remove out of your apartment, you modify. Let's say you have TV that's cracked, you upgrade that. It's just some, not you're not touching with the column, you're not touching with the house, you're not touching the roof, you're not touching the walls. You just switching or upgrading, um, kind of like existing, but not like completely removing it, but like kind of um, um, modifying it to become better, to up to date. Insert is you buy a new couch, you did not have a couch before in here, and you bought a new couch. So insert new data, bring new records or new data, updates, partial modification. Okay, partial modification, either be one or two, but not the entire row. Okay, deletes, when you want to delete, you can delete one or two, whatever you want. Truncate, remove all of them. Okay, just imagine it by connecting with the real world. All right, so before creating tables, I want you to understand the difference. Why actually companies and technology, NISC major companies choose to want database and database tables, and developers like us hiring us for expensive salaries than putting their records in Excel. Okay. So for one reason, Excel, as you can see, you don't modify. I mean, you don't define the tables and the columns. Meaning A always going to be A, right? It's pre-med. So A, you can put anything, any raw or anything, but A column always going to be A, B column is going to be always B, C columns. But in SQL, whenever we create our own table inside that database, you have to have a database, and then you have to have table. Of course, you have to have a schema. If you don't, Microsoft SQL automatically will create it for you, and then you create your own table. When you create table, this is what we're going to be creating. We, instead of A, we will do our own, let's say ID, right? Instead of B, we will say name. Instead of C, we will say age. We define. And not only that, we also define, is this value going to be um, ID, I mean numbers, or text, or is it going to be date format? We define that. And then by doing that, we can, of course, um, it's accurate, and it's also quality data. You don't put one or two and then put just Excel is a bit dated, if you know what table, how the database table works, okay? Because one's highly secure, you cannot just like scroll down or scroll to left or right, and then by accident you will delete it. That's not going to happen in a table, because you have to write a query by using SQL, right? SQL language, okay? Programming language. So security, it's very secure. And two, you cannot accidentally cannot delete, because that's secure. All right. So in a database, there are structure rules. So create, right? DDL, data definition language, and then create what? Because like we said, right? Like we said, there's database objects. So right now we're going to focus. But whenever we say create, right? Create what? Table, view, index, trigger, function, or store procedure. So you have to let it know. Okay. So we're going to say create table. This table by default means base table. Okay. Table, and then you put table name, whatever you want table name. And then the column, and then the data type. You put a comma so that it can keep creating next to it. Okay. And then column, next column, and then column definition, and whatever you want to do. So this is one of example. So we want to create students, and the students has ID. This table need to contain ID. This, and then name. We want a student name. We want the student gender information. We want to age information and marks or grades. Okay. So we create table and then name it, and then you open parenthesis and close, and then that's where you actually write the column names and then their data type. So a little bit different in the SQL table and a database table. If you say ID and integer, this is int. This means in this column only numbers will be inserted. Okay, you are defining it, and then later after you put integer and you want to put text, it's going to be cops on you, it will be police on you, and it will tell you no, 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 you cannot enter text, you cannot put names. You say you define it to take, you define it the column name to be ID, and then the data type to be inserted in that column need to be integer. The name, it's a varchar, variable and character. So you can put a mixture of a symbol, or you can put number. This is a mixture, okay? But it needs to be 65. It will take up to 65 character, meaning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, or 19. Okay, this column characters means it, like each alphabets will be count as a character. So 65, up to 65, that column can have space for you. Gender is pretty much the same thing, 20. Age, I want it to be integer, and marks, I want it to be integer, and then of course open and close parenthesis. That is, and if you do comma, that means, okay, ID here, and then name, and then gender, age, and mark, which you will see that later. Okay, so as you can see here, you have item ID. The data type is integer. Don't worry about it here. Integer, and the bunch of column names, and then we do dates and varchar floats. You will learn this at data types in the future videos, upcoming videos, but just for now, this is how we define it, and we will do this actually a live demo. So once we create that, what if we want to add, okay, for now we do have ID, name, gender, age, mark, right? Okay, once we have, and then what if we want to add? So we insert the records like this. As you can see, I have ID, name, gender, age, marks, right? We insert the records on it, but then we forgot to collect the student's phone number information. So what do you do after already put that, and after, because companies always improving, right? So the managers will tell you, the management will tell you, okay, let's add information, right? The phone number information for each student. So already you already create a table and you already insert the records, right? So what do you need to do to modify? You want to modify. So what do? Alter. So alter what? The database objects that you want to work on or modify on table. And then you have a table name, and then add column name, and then of course you have to define data type. So here is what happened. Alter table, table name, date, added, column, definition. You can add one or you can do multiple. Okay. And then, so for this one, how do they add? As you can see, when they create, they have up to mark, right? So, but they want to add phone. So what do? Alter table, and the table name is students. So what did? They add phone number and varchar up to 20. Okay, so they add that. If you want to drop a table, you can do drop table, and you can add schema by default. Like I said earlier, Microsoft SQL will assign DBO if you don't create a schema for it. But for right now, we're just going to focus on here. So DBO table and students name. Okay, then just drop table. Okay, this is what you do. And this is how using a query or SQL programming language, or SQL query language. And if you want to use your mouse user graphic interface, you can click on the name and then you can delete. Okay. If you want to modify, alter using the mouse, you can do the design. If you want to see what is in the table, you can use select. Whenever you want to delete, you can delete this. Okay, so for now in this video, we're going to focus on data definition language that will work on database objects. So today's database object that we will be working on is table. Okay, the base table to physically insert records. I'll show you that. So the first step will be we'll be creating, just like what we saw in the previous slides. And then we will modify. Modify, it's a little bit stretch. So when we modify, we can now show you 3 different things to modify. So once we modify the table, we can add a new column. And then I'll show you how to modify the column inside that column and how we can drop. Okay, and then at the end we will drop the table itself. So create, modify or alter, and then drop. And then every time we do that, I'll show you by inserting records to see. So you will see how we use select. Okay, so let's go to live demo. Okay, so first, as you can see, um, there's no, let me see, we are on masters. Okay, so we are in masters. So, okay, let me drop first database and level up, level up DB. As you can see, I want to show you, I just want to help you refresh your mind from previous. Okay. Okay. Doo-doo. Okay. Okay. Nope. Oops. Okay. Oh, sorry about that. Recent access. Let's see. Okay, I got that back. All right, let's okay. I want to drop it so that database base that I can show you from, just help you remember from the previous um, slide. Okay. Oh, because of course you cannot delete, drop the database while you are inside that database. It will throw cannot drop database because it is in current use. I'm using it right now. Okay. So you have to be outside of that. Okay. I'm not sure why it's slow. I'll stop it right now. So you just drop it, and then of course you just have to create. This is I taught you guys from last previous video. So once you create that, and then you just use that to be inside of this database, instead of we are right now inside master table, and master table is the system database, so we are inside here. We don't want to be here. Okay, we want to be inside this db. Okay, so what I will do, use this. So now immediately switch. Okay, so now we are in that database. Okay. Um, okay. So now I will teach you how to create, alter, and drop table. So first we're going to be creating table. Do we have that database? Let's see what do we have. So as you can see, we do not have any table. Okay. It will show it in here. So we're going to be creating table. So what I'm going to start when I define something, when I create a database object, I will start as a create. Create what? Table. And then table name will be, we want it to be students. Okay. And then open parenthesis and close parenthesis. So any the columns, any I can add as much as I want, but it needs to be inside these parentheses. Okay. Inside this parenthesis. So students, I want to collect a student's ID. Okay. Student ID, and I want it to be integer. Okay, and then I want to do comma, meaning so it will finish. Okay, this is one column and it will take only numbers. Comma, so to go like one column here and the next column. Okay, so to go to next column, I want student name, student, and then name. Okay, and I want to take text. So var car. I want to take usually people's name, usually be first name and last name. It can be 20, right? And then comma. And after that, I want to take, let's say, student gender, right? And I want the gender to be just character one. I want it to be female, or for female to give me F, for male to give me M. Okay, I just one character is enough. Okay, and then comma. The next column, I want it to be, so instead of, like, remember, instead of Excel showing you A, B, C, we define it. We define, instead of A, we define it student ID, and it's only integer or numbers that goes to in that column. And student's name, up to 20 characters, we are allowed any variable in mixture of a symbol or anything to go in here. And gender, 1 for MF, okay, to indicate whether it's male or female. So age is usually number, so integer. Okay, and then mark or grade. Okay, grade, I want it to be integer as well. So because I want the column to stop here, right? To stop here, I don't want to add any column. If I mean comma. If I add comma, it will expect me to give it more columns. So I want it to stop it in here. Okay. So students, I'll create that, and it doesn't show me any red error. So here I will come here because how do I know I am inside this database? This is what it shows me because I am inside that. Okay, so make sure you know where you are. So I am in this and I want to do, I'm right click and I want to do refresh. So the refresh students, it shows me, and I want to expand this and expand the columns. As you can see, the column student's ID integer, a student's name varchar 20, gender varchar 1. So you get the idea. And also if I this is you doing whenever you see graphic using graphic user interface or your mouse, right? But I want you to practice writing code, SQL, right? Writing SQL, it's a programming language. I want you to practice how to talk to the query engine. You don't see the query engine because it's behind this white wall, but it will, as you can see, I'm interacting. I'm not interacting directly here, but I'm interacting. So the query usually perform here because that's how it works. So writing and learning how to write the programs like doing this way will help you. All right, so let's see. I want to see, right? To view to see, so you do select DQL. Select everything. Shift on your keyboard is if you press shift and 8, number 8, that will bring you from, okay, and then students, because it knows, because I am in this database, it knows that immediately, so it'll bring you here. So I want to highlight only this part and then execute. As you can see, the student's ID, student's name, gender, age, and grade. Let me test it by using inserting a new records. Okay. Oops. Okay. Just to show you. All right. I want to do insert when I want to insert new records. Insert. Okay. Insert into. Okay. Where? Students. 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 Okay. And then values. The following values are, okay, insert new records into this table, and the values are, so the query engine, if you're not specifying the columns, which I'll teach you in a coming video, um, it will start reading by default. It will start reading from left to right. Okay, so whatever columns, if you're not specifying the column names right after the table, and you just do this, and it will automatically, it will know that you will insert all the records. You will provide values for all columns. So because we do integer, the first one will be 1, and the name will be, let's say, Tiggy G. Okay, and next, gender, I am a female. Okay, and then the age would be, I am 57. Let's become 57. And then grade, I do have A. Okay. So as you can see, you have to take, you have to follow orders. Okay. Values. Any red, squiggly red, let's say it like this, that means most of the time is something wrong. So check your coding. Okay. So I will insert this, highlights, and execute that, conversion failed for worker A. What did I do? Okay, it's not A. As you can see, I put the grade, so it's telling me that, okay, the conversion failed when converting the varchar value A to data type integer. So when I define it, it's integer. But what I was trying to put was A. So it's telling me, what you created when you define the table, you say this will be, right? You can't mix living room for a bedroom, right? If the house developer built this room to be a living room, and you cannot just bring your couch, I mean your bed and everything to be right, to put the wrong item. So it's telling me you say integer, so make sure you put integer. So okay, I'll say 90. Okay. Okay, now he's satisfied. It is satisfied. So I will select and see what I enter. So as you can see, you can see student ID 1, Tiggy, F, so 57, in grade 90. So this is how I create, and then I just show you inserting record. Now the next, we'll move on to modify. Okay, so earlier you saw in the PowerPoint, there's no phone number, because when you work for the company, things always changing for better, right? Improving. Companies always improving to serve their customers. So student ID, okay, so the school who hire a software company to manage their data, students' data, everything. Now the management, the school principal or the management or the president of that university request to add column. To add a column to collect a student's phone number. All right. That's just one of the examples that I just made up. So what we're going to do, so we already have the tables created, and some of records can be like millions of records can be reside in this data, in this table, in this database object. So what we're going to do is modify, okay? Updates, all right? So we have to modify the column by adding a new column, okay? So what are we going to do? To modify the table, we're going to start as alter, okay? Alter, alter, alter what? Alter table first. What is the table name? Students, students. What do you want to do? Add column. So we don't have to say column, but we're just going to say add. And then the column name, phone number. Okay. What is the data type? I want it to be varchar, and I want it to be 12. Okay. So I will be adding that. So as you can see, it's accepted it. So what I want to do, again, I want to see it. So select everything from students. Okay, or if I quickly want to see, I want to see here. So I can do that. It will show me this, or I can just refresh it real quick. And here, and then column. So phone number is already inserted. Okay. All right. So what about now? I want to modify. So this is not cool. This bother me. I wanted, instead of 90, I want to do A, B, C. So as you can see, you saw earlier, A is not in number. So it was giving me an error. So I want to modify this. Um, Again, the school changed its strategy. So I want to change. I want to modify the column and its data type. Okay. So here I want to start again. Alter what? Table. And then table name is students. And now because I want to modify, I have to also say alter column. Alter column. Okay. And what column that I want to modify? This. So what I do, great, make sure spelling is your spelling is correct. And then instead of integer, I'll just provided the new one. Okay. So I'll just say character. Actually, I want to do car, and then I want to do just one. Okay. I want to do A, B, C. Okay. So I will select this, execute, it accepted me. So I want to do it again. I want to see, select everything from, as you can see, it was integer, right? I can refresh here, and then it changes to character. So it doesn't show me anything whenever I modify this. So you have to actually see what is showing in here, okay, for this one. When you rename, I mean, not rename, but modify it, like change the character, it doesn't show you here, but you have to write like a bit complex query language. So it might not be a good idea to write it right now to less confuse you. Okay. Now I want to show you how to, so we learned so far how to add column by modifying the table, and then we modify the column. Now I want to show you drop. I don't want, let's say the school decided to remove the age. Age is not necessary, right? They say, okay, we don't want the age to show in this table, right? They are our boss. The company, the software company you work for, always work for other big organizations to manage their data. So they send, let's say, they send, we don't want the age to be shown. Remove the age from this table. Okay. So again, what do you do? Because you're still modifying the table, alter table. What is the table name? Students. Students. Okay. And then what do? Drop. What? Column. What is the column name? Age. Okay. I want to drop the column. Okay. It accepted me. So I can select and see. Okay. As you can see, the ages no longer exist. Okay. The ages no longer exist. Um, oh, and then I want to refresh. And then you can see the ages no longer exist. If I want to show you what the age, I mean, this actually, the gender switch to, um, let's see, copy. I'm going to do it here. I'll do to and Bethel and female 47. And now we just put a string. So just gonna put she got a, right? So now I want to see, select everything from, I want to see everything. Oops. Okay. Actually, wrong because I forgot. Let's see. B. So, okay. The column name. Bree 3F. Oh, the age is no longer. So as you can see, it's not it's telling me it's not correct. What do I have? Let's see. I do have student ID. I do have name, gender, grade, and then the phone number. I can put, let's say, our level up school phone number 502 705 2101. Okay, for Bree. Okay, so I want to see, if you want to see data, it only to be this way. Okay, so now you can see, as you can see, we modify, we add column, right? So remove and modify the columns by modifying the table. Now the last step will be drop the table. So we want to drop the table. So whenever we want to drop, we're going to start again, drop. When you insert, you start insert. When you modify, you start alter. When you want to remove database object, you say drop. Okay, drop what? Table. What is the name of the table? Students. Students. Okay, that's it. You select it and drop it. So we're gonna refresh the table. If it is actually there, it's no longer. Actually, that is not the right thing to do. I just refresh it here. Okay, then the table is gone. If I want to check, select students, and it's already, I already know. So it will give me invalid object name students. So when you misspell your table name, or when there's no the table by that name inside this database, it will give you invalid object name. Okay, so this is, so as you can see, so we learn, right, how to yeah um, um, so we learn how to create database objects by creating new and modifying it and dropping. So alter, modifying the table, has a little bit the another nested section. So make sure you practice on that. Okay, to summarize this video, you learn what is SQL, structure query language, and it is command commands. Make sure you know those. It makes it so much easier for you if you know what is DDL, what is DQL, what is DML, what is especially these focus on database. I mean, data definition language. I mean, data definition language, data manipulation language, and data um, um, query language. Okay, the three, like mainly those. Okay, so in this summarize like SQL, and you learn the difference between the table, the SQL database table and Excel table. And I also showed you how to create table, modify them, and drop the table both using GUI or graphic user interface or T-SQL. I want you to use T-SQL most of the time. Okay, most of the time. Just use this whenever you have to. When this option is not available, if you can, or this is too complex or take time, just use this. Otherwise, please use this for you to practice. So questions for practice. Create database. Okay, create database. Create database and name the database as Amazon. Okay, and then create table inside this, be inside this database, Amazon database, and then create an employee table. So you can what information, you can do whatever you want, right? But what information employees need to Amazon need to have for employee, for each employee, right? One of them can be employee unique ID, right? And then employee's first name, last name, employee's salary, gender, it can be position, right? When was they were hired? You can do whatever you want, list of it. And then once you create, try to alter or modify this employee table by adding new column, and also by modifying the one of the existing column, and also dropping one of the existing column. Okay, and then drop the table, drop this employee table. Okay, and the last one, do it 3 times. Do this step. You can also drop, if you want to, the database, Amazon database, and recreate it again. So for you to practice it really well. Okay, this is what I have, and thank you for being patient. But before that, you saw me how to put like integer varchar character. So you might be confused, like how do we know when we create that table? How do we know who what database what data type we need to put, right? I do have solution for you. So in the next video, I'll teach you, and we will focus on the whenever we create database table, I'll teach you a numeric, date or time, and characters. Or whenever we want to define that column, fits numeric, what is that? Because it has a whole section of it. So when to pick which data type is matters once we identified if it's numeric. Okay, if we decided to be date or time, that column need to value, and that column need to be a date for, say, date of hire. What kind of data type are we looking for? Is it date only? Is it time only? Is it both a combination? You get the idea. And if we want to characters or string text, it has its own section as well. So is it character, varchar, and varchar max text? What is it? So I will explain to you, along with how to insert records, update records, and delete or truncate records. So I'll show you all of that. You do not have to worry about until you get super advanced. Okay. Okay. All right, I will end it here. Thanks for watching. And please watch more videos. Hopefully, you will learn something valuable from this video. All right, bye.